place to be. We want to continue to have you go to all kinds of our events. We have at least 2 or 3 academic updates every year, where we come back on campus and we're invited by a dean or associate dean to see what a program is like. This week we're going to the Union. We have the Union is hosting us for a lunch, and then we're going to have a background tour of the Union, the brand new Union. We did a forensics tour not too long ago. Last spring we went through the Speech and Hearing Center, gone through the Autism Center. Things that as Michael said, when I was in my own little silo, I never got to see these things. And gosh, what is there at this university that most of us don't know about? So it's exciting to do the academic updates. We try to represent the university in any forum that we can, like this, and then in any other type of retiree group that we can present our message. We want to have social events. We have worked all of our lives. You will notice that any retiree that you see has a permanent smile on their face. Life on the other side is wonderful. Life on the inside was wonderful too. As this young man said, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. Well, I started all over again and reinvented myself. You're going to do the same thing when you retire. Maybe you have a piano that's been staring at you for 20 years and you want to learn how to play. Maybe you want to golf all day long. You'll be able to reinvent yourself too. You can see our retirement policy is it's etched in stone, so that will not change, we hope, so we have to keep up with that. These are the different things that we do. You can even just type in UNTRA and it will pull up our page on our website. So like us on Facebook, you can see all the fun things that we do, and I hope that you will take advantage of our association once you retire.
Can you go back to the website?
Sure.
Thanks.
And I'll be happy to send any of these presentations that you wish to you if you'll just send me an email.
We hope you will all be members and active in UNTRA, because we represent you with the administration, and whatever benefits retirees have are negotiated by the UNTRA Benefits Committee. It's a social organization, but it's also a service organization to retirees. So we hope you will feel welcome to join us.
One other thing that I'd like to talk to you about briefly is the Emeritus College, and then we'll get right to the questions and answers. How many of you have taught in the Emeritus College? Jan has several of you. Any of you members of the Emeritus College? Okay, so for many of you this is something new. The Emeritus College also runs out of our lifelong learning folks. It is a bunch of people, many of them faculty, but not all, former faculty, current faculty, but not all of them. They teach on a volunteer basis all sorts of different courses. So if you wish to be an Emeritus College member, you pay us a fee. I think it's a couple to $300, don't quote me on that, per year. And that allows you to take an unlimited number of classes. These include lots of different subjects, also fun things like trips to vineyards. Some of you may know Reed Ferry, the archaeologist on our faculty. He takes a group out to New Mexico to an actual live archaeological dig. There's all sorts of things like that. Courses from soup to nuts. It's very popular and growing, so I'd encourage you to look into that if you have an interest. Yes, sir.
The fee for the classes is $75.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Let me correct that very clearly. $75 per annum, per year? Yeah. Okay. I beg your pardon.
This
For all
form
the
says
classes.
$75 from February to April.
Okay. That's
A little shorter.
Okay.
That's where the
So
classes
it's, I think that's where I got the $200. It may be a little less. But in any case, if you go visit them online or send me an email, I will give you the exact number. It is awesome, very popular. So, what questions do you have for our panelists? Anything at all?
Can I just clarify with the HR specialist? So I'm not sure if you said this with purity, but if we have TRS, you'll help us get through the end stages. And in our RFP, we need to get a financial advisor. Is that?
No.
Okay.
So,
You'll help us even if it's
right,
RFP?
right.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I meant by the financial advisor, you have one of the 4 providers. You either had Craft, Fidelity, Voya, or Valid. So you want to talk to them before you make a decision of retirement to make sure you're able to afford it to retire and how you're going, what strategy you're going to take. That's what I meant by that. But you still have to meet with the
Okay.
regardless.
Okay, I want to. It sounded like you were kind of
Yeah.
cutting us loose.
No,
there,
no,
but
no.
okay,
And your
okay.
process is super easy because
Okay.
that's your main concern. Can I
Okay.
afford it? Okay.
Could somebody give a very brief overview? I know you don't have time for the details of the different Medicare, of the different plans here, and then also which one do most people take? Again, I know you can't tell everything, but just a really brief.
Right. High level. Okay. So if you're retired, and everybody should have a flyer of that. If you're retired at age 65 and you have applied for Medicare Part A and Part B, you have to access to 2 plans. You have the Medicare Advantage plan, which is Humana is your medical provider, and then you have access to Health Select Secondary, which is a combination of Humana and United Healthcare. So if you go with the first plan, Medicare Advantage plan, it's more an advantage to you because it's very rich. It's cover you pretty much everything. So you're still responsible for some out of pocket, but it's Humana. And a lot of people are concerned, oh, Humana, the service might not be as good as to how United Healthcare. It depends. What area you're moving to, you're staying in Denton. You have to do some research before you make that decision. And if you go with the Health Select Secondary, that's a combination of 80 and 20, if you think about it. Humana is going to be the primary, which is going to be 80% of that cost will pay by Humana. And then you have Health Select of Texas, which is the state of Texas plan. There's going to be supplemented to the Medicare Advantage plan. And then you have 2 providers, so your network is bigger. A lot of doctors tend to take that based on what I hear, having used the plan myself, and because they have United Healthcare. But if you look at the plan design, you have more, you pay more out of pocket to have two different insurance providers. So it's really, whether you're moving out of state, you have to look about how many doctors you have within your area and make a decision about the budget. Do you really want to have Health Select Secondary and be responsible for more out of pocket? Keep in mind that, yeah, the plan is going to be covered by the state of Texas if you're retired with the state of Texas, but you still have to pay for Medicare Part B. That part is still your responsibility. And in addition to paying Medicare Part B, you're still going to be responsible for some service out of pocket. So it's really hard to make a decision because it has to be, if you're moving to Florida, you have to see how many doctors in your area. And you can go online and do your zip code where you're moving and make a determination. And most importantly, maybe your budget doesn't allow you to have Health Select Secondary. Maybe your pocket allows you to have Medicare Advantage. Both plans tend to be very popular. And so far, I retired about 88 employees this year, 88. So half of them have told me they're going to go with the Medicare Advantage plan. The remaining of those going with the Health Select of Texas. So it's 50-50. So I not be able to give you an answer because based on what I'm hearing, they go with either plan.
Is Health Select of Texas what is called Medicare Primary?
Yes, and Health Select Secondary, that's option. And if you decide if for example you retire today and you forget to make your election within 31 days, Medicare Advantage will be your default plan. That's the plan you will be enrolled automatically if they have your Medicare Part B number. I hope that answered your question.
That helps.
John?
Could you explain the windfall elimination?
Oh, that's a social security rule, and I give that out because a lot of employees has to ask that question about, I've worked in an institution where I didn't pay social security, how that's gonna affect my pension, will my pension be reduced? There are two separate concepts, and that is for employees that did not pay into Social Security for half of their career. Let's say they were to work in a community college. Some of them don't pay into Social Security, but we do. So it will be a reduced amount of the Social Security. We'll kind of give you, depending how many years you have been paying to Social Security. If you accrue 30 points, then obviously you get your regular Social Security, but it's really a combination. So I give that both as a reference. It also gives you the contact number where to call and find out, and they will ask you for your Social Security. They will be able to give you more personal information. That was just for your reference if you think that applies to you.
Okay.
Opting into the Texas insurance requires 10 years of service.
You have to retire from the state, yes, for 10 years of state service. Assuming that you're meeting your rule 80 or you're age 65, and then you have at least 5 years of participation.
Yes, ma'am.
If you move out of state, does UMP still pay for your Medicare?
Well,
You
it's
still have your insurance then?
depending which one you choose. You have the Medicare Advantage plan that is by Humana, and that will follow you either way, or you have Health Select of Texas, and yes, but the part that Health Select of Texas secondary becomes out of area if you move out of the area. So you look at the column that says out of area.
Will you be here all summer for those of us who are involved?
Yes, I will be here, yes.
What's the rules on modified service for marriage? Is that optional, or is that an option available to everybody, modified service?
It's in the UNT policy manual,
Okay.
and it says you can request it. And then it's up to the chair, the dean, I suppose, whether or not to approve it. But I've never heard of any place where a dean or a chair didn't approve
I
it.
think you have to be tenure track, though, I don't think that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess you have,
No, College of Business doesn't do it. Is there anybody from College of Business?
Really doesn't believe it.
Well, Finley's gone, but maybe, I expect they follow.
I'm not in business with them, I've been told.
Any other questions?
Is the percentage on the Social Security, or rather on the pension taxes, similar to what we already think of in terms of taxes? Like somewhere around 30%? It's about the same? So take whatever your pension is and do it 30%, and that's your real figure?
And you'd be safe.
Okay.
If you're a TRS, they will give you a table and they will tell you the amount of money you're potentially gonna get and gonna break it down by how many allowance you're claiming, and they will tell you exactly how much tax you're gonna be taking out of your account.
I've tried that, not been very successful. Online?
No, when you get your
Ah.
estimate, they will give you the actual table, and that for sure you see it's gonna be 50, 150, or $300.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit more about sick time and rain, or I don't understand that.
In terms of buying time of service.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I have to get up, maybe you can hear me better. So basically, TRS allow you on your last month, your last day of employment, if you have 400 hours of sick time, that make you eligible to buy that year of service where you'll be able to pay out of pocket or use your 403B or another retirement account you have available to cover the amount of that cost. That's very expensive. It could go between $7,000 to $17,000. It's really expensive.
42,000.
42,000? I have seen different amounts. It varies based on, it varies on your salary. It varies on your salary, what potential your pension might look like. Yeah, wow, 42,000.
Is that only for TRS?
That's for TRS only, yes. Yeah, Ocean Retirement Program doesn't have that.
But if you have less than 400 hours,
They are not.
you don't get paid for it.
No, you can
But
donate
you
it.
can donate it to the sick pay pool.
That's correct.
What if you have vacation hours? Do you get paid pay for the vacation hours?
Absolutely, yes, and 1.5 if you ever accrue that, you have that. We really don't accrue that.
So how many vacation hours do you get every year?
There's a table online, I don't recall everything, right now if as a new hire, you start accruing the hours of vacation time and based on seniority, I can email that to you, I don't want to tell them that our organizations accrue vacation.
Regular faculty generally,
Yeah.
regular faculty generally do not accrue holiday or vacation. Because we're non-union.
Even if you fill out the sick leave
Right,
form?
that's a different animal, sick leave and holiday. So your chair would qualify, administrators qualify. Yes, sir.
If you retire and you want to add your spouse to your insurance,
Yes.
is there a lead time that you have to do that, or
Yeah,
can you do it
so-
at any time?
Well, you can do it through open enrollment before you retire. So your retirement is considered a life event. When you have a life event, you are able to make life event changes to your benefit. At that time, you will have 31 days from your retirement day to add your spouse, to drop your dental, to add a vision plan if you need to, etc.
Yes, sir.
When you said keeping ORP active, all you meant was if you somehow transferred the money to a non-ORP account somewhere and no longer existed as ORP, that would be inactive, that's what you meant, right?
Yeah, if you withdraw 100% of your
Yeah.
ORP balance, yes.
If I'm on a 12-month contract and I retire in May, how far, what monthly payments do I get in terms of my paycheck?
So normally, if you retire before your the end of the school year, the payroll will have. They advised me to advise you not to do that. That's what I was told one time. Because they will have to do an audit, and then the difference will be a lump sum paid to you if everything is on to you, because you have 9-month contract over 12 months. So you're 12 over 9. So they will have to do an audit and pay you a lump sum for whatever remaining balance we owe you.
Do I need to do something to initiate that?
So your department will have to process an e-bar to let us know you're retiring, and if you ever accrue a vacation at one point in your career, then you have to do a Term 9. We would just have to notify payroll that that's taking place. And I think you can write, to the e-bar that you are 12 over 9, and then we can notify payroll. They will be notified that way as well.
Would that same rule apply? I'm on a 9-month contract, but I have my payment side over 12, so I could effectively retire at the end of my, say at the end of the school year.
Right, August 31st.
But would they still do an audit because my pay had been,
Right,
I would think not. but-
So you say your physical last day would be May 31st, but your actual retirement would be August 31st, so you're still gonna receive your, so for you wouldn't apply, only if you, yeah.
Thanks.
I know I'm thinking way ahead here, but do you have much experience with retiring and relocating internationally?
Well, we don't handle relocation.
Well, I know that, but I mean, as far as
Don't
like-
add more work to me. Where do you mean, sorry, in terms
So like
of?
leaving the US?
So in terms where your pension check will be deposited, that's where you.
Was there issues, like, who would I start talking to then about like insurance coverages and things like that?
So, well, that's a very good question. So if, let's say we go, I know United Healthcare only covered you overseas in case of an emergency. So I think the same rule will apply if you decide to retire outside the United States, so it only will cover in case of emergency. So you probably will have to come back to the United States and prevent it. I can find out because United Health Medicare Advantage plan, I'm not sure how they will cover you internationally. No one
Okay, I
have
can
ever
send you a
gone inter-
follow-up email.
Yeah, no one have ever asked me that question, they normally don't move overseas, but that's a good question, I'll offer you.
What about Humana?
What do you
Same
mean?
question, what about Humana? You mentioned United Healthcare, but what if you decide to go with Humana?
Yeah, I would have to.
Same thing?
Yeah, I would have to look into it. I don't know how the coverage. For majority of the insurance based in the United States covers, only covering you international in case of an emergency. Yes.
Hey, is there anything available on the web? I expect for each of these plans, there's more information, like,
Yeah,
this
yes.
is like in-network.
Yeah, so if you go to the ERS website, in the back of that flyer, you also have the website and the customer service number.
Okay.
And then you can do it, yeah. There's ton of information on that website.
I was just gonna add, I know Medicare doesn't cover you outside the United States.
Yeah,
So don't go outside the United States unless you got private coverage.
thank you.
You'd be screwed.
Thank you.
Yep. Hey, Mike, I have one other question. Hadn't been covered. What about emeritus faculty status? I'm not talking about emeritus college, I'm talking about emeritus
Right.
faculty.
What about it?
How do you do it?
Well, there is an emeritus faculty policy.
Which says very little.
I believe that, I have to double check, but I believe the mechanism is through the dean. The dean recommends to the provost and then it's approved. at that
Actually, it
point.
starts with the department chairs recommend to the dean, and then it goes on.
It's like an honor, they nominate you.
But one thing I noticed on a policy, it says conferred at the end of retirement.
No.
It didn't used to say that language. It's been revised. Might want to check that out. You're going to get questions about that.
You become eligible upon retirement.
It usually takes a year after that for it to actually happen.
I actually think the paperwork, though, goes in
Before.
right
Right.
then, and then it doesn't go into effect.
But you kind of have to rattle and change it.
Used to rail and
So these premium rates here, this is, do we pay Medicare on top of this?
Right, but only pay if you're adding a dependent. If you're employee only, it's covering 100%. You only have to pay if you're adding a spouse or you have a disabled
Yeah, but
child.
these rates, this is all would be total?
So that plus, this is your employee to a spouse, you would pay the employee to a
Yeah,
spouse,
but
plus
there's-
Medicare.
Plus Medicare,
Yes.
Medicare Part,
B.
Part B, and how much is that?
It's based on your income. I have seen it from $100 to $157 to
Per
$300. Yes.
Up to 300.
Yeah, that would, when you meet with the Social Security office, they would let you know what the cost would look like for you based on your,
But why meet with Social Security if they're two different things?
no, Medicare and Social Security are the same office. Yeah.
And I found, make an appointment online for the one in Denton. Make an appointment, you show up, they will get you in there the moment it is your time for appointment. They're fabulous. I just can't say enough about them. But make an appointment, don't just go there and sit.
It's really important that you sign up for Medicare A when you turn 65.
Yes.
There is a penalty to your fees that you pay if you wait past 65.
Thank you. Yeah, that's
Into
true.
66?
Yeah,
Well, I was told,
and I did it online, it was very easy. I
No,
went
but
online to Social Security, I put in my
I got
Social
something
Security
from the
number.
university telling me to do it.
yeah, I was told by one of the insurance people, don't do it. And
If you're 66, it's not as bad as.
Part A, you're required by law to sign up for.
Yeah.
Well,
You don't have to do B, but you have to do A. Just go.
And I went online, and my partner went online, and we were on the side for it. So I'll be, Mary Ellen is your new best friend.
Thank you all very much for coming. I'm sure that our panelists would hang around a minute or two if you have some extra questions. Thank you so much.